What's going on, plugins? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how good Colorado football has been in the first few weeks of the season and what went wrong against Oregon. Before we get into this video, make sure you drop a like, and if you're new here, sub to the channel and become a part of the family. Now let's get into the video. Colorado football was entering the season with a lot of unknown. The roster was completely different with a lot of new faces on the team. They only had 10 scholarship players returning from the 2022 roster and about 86 new players on the team. Deion Sanders brought a lot of talent from the Jackson State team in the transfer portal. Last year, Colorado only won one game. This season, they don't have an easy schedule going against teams like TCU, Oregon, and USC. Going into week 1 against TCU, they were the underdogs, and most people expected them to lose this game. But Colorado went out there and beat TCU 45-42. TCU was ranked in the top 20. This was their first win against a top 20 team on the road since 2002. So in Deion Sanders' first game of the season, he beat a top 20 team on the road. So that's very impressive for his debut. What was more impressive was what Shedeur Sanders did in his debut. In his first start, he broke the school record for passing yards with 510, and he threw 4 touchdowns. So he proved a lot of doubters wrong in his first game for Colorado. He looked poised in the pocket, and he looked accurate throwing the ball. Colorado made history having 400-yard receivers. The freshman running back Dylan Edwards is one of the players to have over 100 yards with 5 receptions for 135 yards and 3 touchdowns. Travis Hunter had a lot of hype going into the season, and Deion said he would be playing both sides of the ball, and people were curious to see how this would play out. Travis Hunter exceeded expectations this game and played over 100 snaps total and had 11 receptions for 119 yards and had an interception. The interception he made in the red zone was probably one of the best interceptions you're going to see this season. He made a good read and made a big-time play. So after this game, people made excuses for TCU, saying they were not a good team and they weren't the same team that went to the college football championship game because they lost a lot of key players from that team. So going into the second week of the season, they had to go against Nebraska and prove the doubters and haters wrong again. Colorado was unranked, but after beating TCU, they came into this game against Nebraska ranked 22. Colorado's offense struggled this game, and Shedeur was getting pressured and hit all game. Both teams wasn't really doing much in the first half, and Colorado was up 13-0 going into the second half, and they were locked in and started to run away with the game, and they won 36-14. Colorado's defense played well all game, putting pressure on Nebraska's quarterback. The defensive line was too much for Nebraska. This was a big reason why Colorado was able to win this game. At this point, they already won more games than they did last season by winning 2 games, so the AD's looking like a genius for hiring Deion Sanders as the head coach. Home game tickets are selling out fast, and the school is making a lot of money. Now it's time for Deion Sanders' first rival game against Colorado State, and these type of games in college can get crazy. Leading up to the game, Colorado State head coach said this about Deion: "When I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and glasses off. That's what my mother taught me." He was taking a shot at Deion because he likes to wear sunglasses during interviews. The quote made Deion and Colorado team mad, and Deion said it's personal now. It was a lot of tension build up, and this game turned out to be one of the best games so far this season. Colorado was doing decent in the first half. They weren't playing their best. Shedeur Sanders had an amazing pick 6 during the first half by making a good read and jumping the passing lane and getting the ball. Unfortunately, in the first half, Travis Hunter got injured by a dirty play by a Colorado State player. He missed the whole second half and will be out a few weeks. This game came down to Shedeur Sanders having to lead his team on a 98-yard drive and make a 2-point conversion with about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. This was a nerve-wracking moment because the offense went 8 straight drives with no touchdown. He had to show he's a clutch player, and he drove them down the field and threw a 45-yard touchdown to Jimmy Horn Jr. He made a player miss in the open field and scored, and they converted a 2-point conversion and came out with the win in double overtime. Shedeur told the media they left too much time on the clock in the fourth quarter, and he went Brady mode. One takeaway we can take from this game is that Shedeur Sanders is a clutch player, and one stat that I found: in the fourth quarter and in overtime this season, his completion percentage is 84, and he has 450 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 INTs. I want to give a shout out to the tight end Michael Harrison, who had some clutch catches throughout the game and was a big reason why they won. Now it's time for the biggest test this season. Colorado is finally going against real competition. They're going against one of their toughest games on the schedule, which is Oregon. They're looking good this season, being ranked 10. They're ranked 2nd in the nation in scoring with 58 points per game and 3rd in total offense with 587 yards per game. Oregon was a favorite by 21 points, and they went out there and embarrassed Colorado, beating them 42-6. Oregon was dominating from start to finish. The first 2 drives, they marched down the field and scored 2 touchdowns. At that point, it looked like it was going to be a long day for Deion Sanders. Shedeur had no time in the pocket, and Oregon's D-line was dominating in the trenches and had a bunch of sacks. Shedeur had one of his worst games of the season, going 23 for 33 for 159 passing yards and 1 touchdown. Oregon's offense looked way faster than Colorado, and Bo Nix, the quarterback, who was a Heisman candidate, completed 85% of his passes for 276 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he had 1 rushing touchdown. The head coach for Oregon wanted to go out there and play with a lot of intensity and destroy Colorado. He gave a speech in the locker room saying they're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins, and their Cinderella story ends today. So Oregon was all business today, and they stay undefeated, being 4-0. I thought the game would be close. This loss is going to make Colorado a better team. They wasn't going to go undefeated. They lost to Oregon, which is a very good football team. Deion Sanders has to go back to the drawing board and get ready for USC, because Caleb Williams is arguably the best QB in college football right now, and they're going to be all business trying to dominate you just like Oregon did. So Colorado just needs to take this loss and forget about it and move on. I know the media and fans are going to say Colorado is overrated and going to say stuff like, see what happens when they play against good competition, but it's year one for Deion, and he led them to a 3-0 record to start the season, and they will learn from this loss and get better. I believe they're a good team. They're going to play better against USC. The offensive and defensive line needs to play better, especially the offensive line. It doesn't matter how talented your QB is if they're constantly under pressure and have no time to throw the ball. How do you expect to score points and win games if your QB's running for his life? It's just not going to happen. They got to do a better job protecting Shedeur Sanders. So we'll see how they do against USC next week. Will Colorado bounce back and beat USC, or will they lose 2 straight games? Drop your opinions in the comments, drop a like on the video, and sub to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you know when I post. If you want more college football videos, smash that like button and let me know what y'all want me to talk about next. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next video. Till next time.